Eric Hammer here, registered psychotherapist. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about the concept of boundaries, but before I continue, please hit that subscribe button below so you'll be notified about any new videos I have here on my channel. So the idea about boundaries is this separation, right, from other people and the ability to know who we are as individuals, to essentially have a self and to know our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs around different ideas that really creates our self. Now, this idea about having boundaries, this is a way that we can essentially create intimacy within our relationships with others. And it's an area that I see lots of struggles in just a general sense, right? And this struggle in being able to establish our own boundaries, to be able to know and separate out ourselves from others, right? Our own self from others in terms of our thoughts and our feelings and what we believe in, and these sorts of concepts. It can be a real challenge for people depending on their experiences growing up. So for some individuals, right, they might have grown up in a situation in which it wasn't safe to create and set boundaries. And a perfect example of this is that concept of saying no. So for some individuals, perhaps saying no might have created some disruption for them, right, in their lives. Whether that was punishment of some type, whether that was scolding, whether that was silence, or a lack then of connection in saying no by their parent. And so as a result of this, for some individuals, it can be really challenging, right, to be able to create relationships in which they have themselves and are sharing themselves as an individual with another person, as opposed to creating sort of a one of these individuals that changes depending on what the other person might feel, want, in order to, in the sense of the individual who is struggling with boundaries, in order to keep the peace, so to speak. So there can be fears of sharing themselves as this true and whole self with another individual if they've been struggling with boundaries throughout their lives. So again, the first thought and concept around creating a boundary is knowing yourself, is to have an idea about who you are, your own thoughts, your own feelings, separate from other individuals, which can be really a challenging concept for a lot of people, especially again, if they weren't allowed to create separation because of their own experiences growing up, their childhood, their parents. If there wasn't this room and flexibility in order to say no, to create separation, it can then be really hard, particularly in romantic relationships, then to be able to communicate needs, thoughts, wants, and again, separateness from another, which in turn actually generates a greater connection, greater intimacy. However, there can be this sense of fear, again, an internal fear, because of past experiences of what creating a boundary might have done for the individual. So again, in my sort of work with men in this sphere, the themes that I look at are, one, the individual knowing themselves, having their own sort of self-awareness as a component of this boundary. You need to be able to know yourself in order to actually have the boundary. And then the second stage of that is to actually be able to share the self, right? To share that separateness as a form of a boundary, knowing when it's okay, so to speak, to say no, and to create this sort of loving separation in order to have the intimacy, right, that men so desire. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment below, and please check with a therapist to make sure that this or any other information is appropriate for you. Thanks again for watching and have a great day. Take care.